but this time in Nasarawa State, where Pius is standing by to give us an update. Pius, what exactly is the feel like in Nasarawa, where you are at the moment?
Good morning, Suleiman. We are at the S2 Palace polling unit in Karu local government with the former U.S. ambassador to Nigeria and an envoy to this election, Ms. Robin Sanders, who is there to monitor the election. At this point that we speak with you, there's mammoth crowd at the polling unit here waiting for the arrival of materials for them to begin the accreditation exercise. But as we speak, nobody is in sight. There's just security officials and the voters who are here waiting for the process to commence. At the moment, we are moving to other polling units to see whether materials have arrived so we can judge whether or not election is starting here in Nasarawa State on time. I understand that we're heading to Kefi local government to see how the arrival of materials and accreditation is going on there.
Well, Pius, very quickly, and good thing, Robin Sanders is there in where you are at the moment, monitoring this particular election and while observing what it is like. We understand accreditation has started in most parts of the country. What is the percentage of polling units having INEC officials there in Nasarawa State?
Well, like I said to you, when we're driving to come to this place, we saw election materials at ward headquarters being distributed. But I think it has not arrived the polling unit itself. For the one I have seen, and I've gone through others, I have not seen materials being delivered at the polling unit itself because I guess distribution is still going on at the ward collation centers. She has said that she's been to two places as well, and accreditation has not started. Materials have not arrived as we speak.
Well, Pius, we'd like to thank you very much. We'll get back to you. Pius speaking with us from Nasarawa State in Nigeria's north-central region. By the way, that particular state, the number of voters in Nasarawa State, about 1.2 million. And, of course, the number of cards collected there is also about 1,048,000. Well, that leaves us with a percentage of 84.34 of those number of cards already. So it's a huge population we have in Nasarawa State that will be participating in this particular election. Earlier, you saw feeds from Katsina State, Nigeria's northwest region, where one of the candidates of today's election will be voting. Accreditation didn't take up to a minute. Well, collectively for himself and his spouse, well, it didn't take up to 2 minutes to get that done. Well, the number of voters in Katsina is about 2.9 million, with collection of voter cards about 2.6 million, leaving the percentage at 92.65%. These are some of the statistics you'll be getting on the program. And of course, well, we do hope that you, who is following up, can also be part of this particular process. Let us in on what exactly is happening where you are at the moment. Pretty soon we'll be going back to Otoke, because earlier on we spoke with our man Chukwuma Onekuse, who is in Otoke, the president's hometown, covering this particular election. At that point in time, a little, well, over an hour ago, yes, less than an hour ago, he did tell us that INEC officials were not in sight, as the news was that they were just leaving the local government area for the venue where the president is expected to have his accreditation and also cast his ballot, and that will be from about 1:30 today. Well, give or take, it's been going on smoothly. No cases of any untoward act from any part of the country. And here in Lagos, so many people are already out, and the visuals we're getting by our eye reporters, pictures specifically coming from the Ikeja axis of Lagos State, has it that, well, Lagos is seeing so many INEC officials already on ground trying to do the accreditation for them. If you are living in any locality and you're having any kind of problem at this time, now is the time for you to let us in on that, as the backroom staff of INEC, the situation room, they're working around the clock. Also, watching the program to see where they are having some hiccups so that they can swing into action. For now, security is tight and very much on course. And for Captain Aliyu, I'm sure you're very, very excited. Every time they say, well, when we use the word, there's security there. What does that mean? If I'm going somewhere and they say, well, security is guaranteed or there's security.
When you say security is guaranteed, there's a two-way thing now. The person making the statement and the person receiving the statement. So communications-wise, when I hear you say security is guaranteed, I'm presupposing that all those things that could actually constitute threats, and when I say threats, I'm talking of the actual, the potential, and the perceived, have been addressed.
Let's break it down again. The actual, the potential, and the perceived.
Actual threats are the ones you see, like a robber holding a gun to your face is actual. Potential are actually like dormant threats. They're possible, but they haven't been activated yet, like a fraud in your office. It exists, even though you can't point to anyone and say he's a fraudster yet. And perceived threats are actually threats that could be like figments of your imagination. Let me use one that Nigerians can connect with. We do pray we do pray for protection from our enemies in church and in mosque, but I don't think anybody has introduced himself as your enemy yet. So you actually have perceived threats.
What a way to explain this.
Yes, I'm trying to explain it that way so the layman can catch me quickly. Now, when you say security is guaranteed, it means you've done your risk assessments, you've done your pluses and minuses, you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's based on the proceeds of your risk assessments. You've provided solutions to those threats as they exist, both the inherent threats and what have you. So when you come out to say security is guaranteed, those that are getting that communication aspect from you are coming with the confidence that the potential threats have all been addressed.
I picked something from you yesterday, the 3 Ps, preempt,
yes.
Prevent, protect.
Protect, yes. Preempt is actually, if I could put it, if you take a preemptive security measure, you actually go in one step ahead. Just like instead of pursuing crime, you can lead crime. You can choose to think like the criminal and just go take care of what he's likely to do. You're being preemptive. Then you can protect or prevent. Protecting means doing those things that will mitigate damage if it happens. Okay? And then when we talk about preventing, it's about doing those things that will even remove the possibility of it happening. Again, if we were to explain that, let me use like fire, for example. If you observe, an inferno starts from a small spark. So if you prevent a spark from occurring at all, then you can't have a fire, isn't it?
Let me ask you, GT, open here. We just saw Buhari being accredited there, almost like a flash it was done, but we're still waiting for President Goodluck Jonathan. What impression does this give you?
You know, the impression it gives me is that something very significant has occurred. If that card reader had failed to perform, the reading of that failure and the implications and the reverberations in the country will be significant. So, oh God, if any card reader is going to fail today, the card reader of President Goodluck Jonathan ought not to fail.
Especially as it's been shown
Yeah.
live.
Live.
Because we got that
So
live.
it's significant.
Yes, yes. Let me.
I held my breath when that card reader, you didn't know. Just hoping and wishing and praying silently that the card reader.
INEC has already given you the assurance that everything.
Let me.
I understand what
So
GT
it's
is saying.
significant that this card reader has worked, and hopefully the card reader that we used to assess
I quite agree.
the PVC
I quite
of the
agree.
president
I quite agree with his
work,
take
and
there.
all over the place. Now, you know, just touching quickly what I was saying before. You know, late arrival or non-arrival of electoral materials, you remember the 2011 election leading to a postponement, had been the bane of conduct of election in Nigeria. In a particular election in Edo State, the governor had to stage a protest around 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. when in Benin City, some of the electoral materials in the state capital from where those materials were supposed to be deployed in the state election were yet